Hey procurement legends, I'm Daniel Barnes, host of World of Procurement, and we are here to talk about request for information, request for quotation, request for proposal. These are commonly referred to as RFX. So a request for information, RFI, is commonly used to seek information from a vast array of different suppliers. So say you are looking at buying a new service or new product, and you know there's quite a lot of different providers out there. You've done your market research, you have data already, you've got some intelligence around this, but you want to go a step further. So sending out a request for information to ask about your top 5 concerns, the quality of the product, where they source from, just whatever you need to find out more, to narrow the pool of, let's just pick 20 as an arbitrary number here, of suppliers down to 5. It's a really good process for doing that. It can be very fast, very quick, very efficient, but you do need to tee up the various suppliers that you're gonna go out to, that, hey, this is coming your way, and we do need a response for you to consider you for an eventual RFQ or RFP, depending on what happens there. So we'll come to that in a moment. I think it's probably worth noting here that you can certainly go out to suppliers that are on your approved supplier list here, and those that are not on it, those that you've never worked with, that you don't have contracts with, just go out to people, find out what's going on. There's so many procurement tech solutions now that assist with this RFX process that I actually think this RFI idea, this way of working, will probably become a thing of the past. I just don't think it will be needed in the future. I think we're going to have such a vast and strong understanding of the solutions that are out there. We're going to have aggregated data, very clean data on these things. Tech providers are going to build this up for us. We're going to build it up within our own organizations if we haven't already. That I fundamentally think it will be as simple as just pressing a button and we will buy stuff in decentralized way. But I'll get off my soapbox about that. We can cover that in another episode. So that's what an RFI is. Let's go on to what an RFQ is, because an RFQ is very simple, and I think this is probably what a lot of people start off doing when they're a buyer. This is when you go out to, I don't know, however many suppliers, and the very cliche thing here is you go out to 3 suppliers, you ask for quotes, and you typically work with the one that's got the best price, best quality, the one that fits within your time frame for delivery. And an RFQ is effectively, we know exactly what it is we need. So let's take a part. We know the exact measurements, we know the exact outputs, and we know that this is effectively a off-the-shelf product. So you can buy this from a number of different suppliers. It may be slightly different. There might be some slight variations, but fundamentally it's off the shelf. We buy it and we can plug it into whatever we need to do. I'd also add that you can use the request for quotation for services, of course, because a lot of services are very similar and it's very easy to review service providers in this way. And also any goods that aren't off the shelf, but they're like modified off the shelf. So for example, if you know that 10 different suppliers do this off the shelf product and you need a slight little tweak on them, and you know that these suppliers can do that tweak for you, well, that's very easy to compare and contrast. It's very easy to see the price differences, the quality differences, the scheduling differences. So request for proposal is maybe the one that people are less familiar with. Typically, a request for proposal is used when you know that you need some sort of outcome. So let's use a component here. We have a need to have a component that can work at 30,000 feet in the air. It can withstand X amount of heat, and it can send signals all around the world. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up, kind of loosely based on my aerospace days. We know that there isn't really parts out there that can do this. We might be able to cobble something together from off-the-shelf solutions, but there's nothing we can effectively mass produce. And we don't necessarily have the expertise in-house to develop this, or we don't have the capacity, the resources, the budget to bring all the equipment and everything in. So a request for a proposal is, we have an outcome we need to achieve, and supplier, we need you to bring your expertise, your innovation, your skills, your capabilities and capacity here. And you need to tell us how you would do this. We're going to effectively grade you. We're going to evaluate your response based on our open-ended, outcome-based requirement. And we will give it to the supplier that is potentially well-priced, good quality, very much the same as what I've just mentioned in the RFQ, but there will be a very strict scoring criteria with weighted scoring on it regarding price, sustainability, transparency. To be honest, whatever you want it, and of course, any other commercials, contract principles, things like that. So you can see it. Let's just summarize this. RFI, information gathering. RFQ, buying a fixed item that we know that is off the shelf, or a service that is very easy, effectively mass produced in that sense. And RFP is when we're not quite sure of how to do it. We know the outcome we need to achieve. This works for both goods and services, and we need the supplier to tell us how they would go about doing it. I think there's pros and cons to all of them. Just bear in mind, RFIs and RFQs can be quite fast, like days, a week. An RFP, on the other hand, especially if you're doing it through like the Word and Excel format, they can take a long time. And depending on the complexity of your RFP, you need to give the suppliers ample amount of time to come back to you. Like we're asking super challenging things. So when you're building out your program, your project plan around like how long is everything going to take, allow an adequate amount of time for your RFP responses, evaluation, and then contract negotiations, awarding the contract, things like that. I hope this video has helped you. It's a super complex area to get into in a video. I've also written an article on it, and I'll leave that in the description. Really hope it helps. I do think that every procurement person should learn a little bit more about digital procurement. So check out this video about what is digital procurement. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.